Hi there folks, and welcome to a test broadcast of RRTV. We're here tonight at Silverstone at the first SEK Queensland GT Endurance Series. So this is new for iRacing. For those that didn't know, iRacing has just brought out driver swaps, and tonight we're doing a test broadcast on one of the first endurance races of the official series, using driver swaps. So what we should see tonight, folks, is as people come in for pits, they've got two drivers. Hi there folks, and welcome to a test broadcast of RRTV. We're here tonight at Silverstone at the first SEK Queensland GT Endurance Series. So this is new for iRacing. For those that... Okay, sorry about that folks, I had the video running in the background just testing the sound, and it loops back through the microphone, so you probably got a bit of a echo there. So as I was saying, what we should see is driver swaps take effect tonight. Each team tonight has two drivers, and each driver will have to do a minimum of 25% or 30 minutes. So the race commenced approximately 15 minutes ago, and it's been it was a rolling start, and it's been a fairly clean race with the field spreading out throughout. Now, as you can see, I think we've got Matthew Hill out front, and he's being followed closely in third by Mitchell McLeod and and Christopher Osborne in second. It's great to see a nice mix of cars up the front between the BMW Z4 and the rough track. iRacing, in their latest build, they have made some adjustments. They've definitely made the rough a lot more competitive. One of the adjustments they've done with that car is they've lowered the suspension height to meet the FIA standards in real life, and that has made the rough more competitive. They've also adjusted the McLaren, and we may not see many McLarens out here tonight because the McLaren was it had the rear suspension adjusted, which some people say has made it harder to drive, and they have had a weight penalty put on them, which has made them fairly uncompetitive. The other thing that came out in the last iRacing build was the Ford GT3 has been released, and that's basically taking the Ford GT and they've brought it up to GT3 spec standards, which we will see running in this category of the GT3 series. But at the moment it's a new car, it's quite unpredictable, and I wouldn't expect to see many drivers using that until the handling characteristics can be sorted out and it can become more competitive. So far we've already had some DNFs. We've had Jonathan Salhani's retired, P. Jewson, J. Bakehoff and E. Burrows. So we've already had 4 retirements, folks, and we're probably only about 10 laps into this race at this stage. Now, if you're wondering what RRTV is, it's a new channel that we're testing tonight, which we hope to bring you future broadcasts of iRacing events in Australia. One of them will be the SEK Queensland Endurance Series, and we'll be looking at possibly covering a couple of other series throughout the season. Now, because we're new, you're pretty much stuck with me, Bernie Weemers, in the booth. It's just me doing the broadcast at the moment, so if there's anyone out there who is interested in joining me in the booth and trying their hand at commentating, just send me a private message and I'd be more than happy to have you join me in here. It just gives me someone to talk to, and it doesn't bore you guys with my boring voice all the time. Okay, so this series is brought to us by Gavin Sadler. He's been running this series now for a number of years, and it's turning out to be one of the, if not the premium Australian GT3 series, and it's just growing from strength to strength, and it's great to see we have a fantastic field of drivers out there at this stage. We've had 33 starters, but it looks like some of those drivers did not take the grid. The 4 retirements did not take to the grid, and we've had another 3 drivers who are currently not circulating, possibly due to car issues. So I'll just take you through how we're looking at this stage. We've got Christopher Osborne pretty much out the front with, this is the way the grid started, sorry. Christopher Osborne. 2 was Matthew Hill. Ian McMahon took 3rd, Mitchell McLeod, Gary Hamilton. So in 6th at the moment is Krasimir Presnicki, Nathan Groudon, David Arnold is coming in 8th. Guy Leach, Paul Mansell, Paul Freely, Gavin Sadler, Stuart Hall, Michael Manley. Now I know Michael will be sharing his drive tonight with Simon Eriksson, and I know that David Arnold will be sharing his drive with Warren Pickering. So we'll keep an eye out for those tonight. We've got Matthew Barron running 15th, Matthew Dignam 16th, Jamie Kingston, Ben Runkell, Daniel Leet. Rounding out the top 20 is Troy Maguire. 21st at the moment is Pat O'Hara, Martin Davis, Brett Woods, Julian Scarpantoni and Ross Henson rounds out the field of 25 drivers. And they're our retirements at the moment, folks. So tonight's race is a 2-hour event, which will test these guys out. We are running at the Silverstone Historic Circuit, which is quite a fast circuit with quite a few tight hairpins coming into the main straight where they're entering now. So this track should test the drivers out. It won't be as demanding as somewhere like Bathurst or Montreal, but it still will demand their concentration. Now as the race goes on, I don't expect to see fatigue from sim racing, but one thing they will be tested with is their concentration levels tonight. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So what we'll do, folks, is we'll jump over and see if we can have a run around Silverstone in a moment. Looking out of the cockpit of, let's see, one moment. I'm just trying to get my overlays cameras working. Let's see if this works. Okay folks, so we're basically in the car now with Jamie Kingston, and I'll shut up and let you have a ride around Silverstone Historic in a moment. We're basically just coming into the part I was talking about. This is a very tight sort of S-bend type arrangement in Silverstone, quite famous. and Jamie's now entering into the stadium for the start of our lap, so I'll shut up and I'll let you enjoy it. Okay, so that was a lap around Silverstone in the BMW Z4. A bit later on we might try that again and jump into one of the McLarens. Looks like we've had a spinner. Speaking of McLarens, I'm not sure who that driver was, but they have spun out. Now what I'm going to try, because this is a test broadcast folks, what I will be trying a bit later on, once I get my bearings, is I'm going to be trying a few replays to see if we can get that going. Tonight's not meant to be a polished broadcast. It's pretty much just to make sure we can bring our standard up before we do go live. So if you are watching it, you're one of the ones that probably got sent a private link. So if you are watching it, just give us your feedback on what you think the volume is, the graphic level details like, what you'd like to see, that sort of stuff, and we'll make sure we can build that into our broadcasts in the future. So at the moment, the fastest lap has been set by G Hamilton with a 1:38.464. So to give you an idea, folks, most guys in this race are circulating in the 1:39s, and the slower guys are down in the 1:44s. So there's quite a difference in lap speed, I guess you could say. Now it'll be interesting to see as the drivers swap how that dynamic does change in this race. I'm quite excited actually to see how this is all going to pan out. So at the moment we're having a look at a nice little battle pack here with Paul Mansell at the moment running in 5th. Just trying to bring up. So yeah, Paul Mansell, is running in 8th, and he's challenging Nathan Groudon at the moment for 6th. So the spinner must have been running probably about 7th, I'd say, because this will update as they go across the line again. Looks like Ian... Okay, so we've jumped back to the leaders at the moment just to see how Christopher Osborne's going. As we were riding with the car behind him with Matthew Hill, he is trying to pull him in, but at the moment he isn't making too much headway against the rough, which in a way is quite good to see, because in previous seasons the BMW was configured in a way that it would have run off with the race by now, so it is great to see that the rough track is holding its own now, and I think iRacing has come a long way in balancing these cars. I think there's still a little bit more work to do to fix the McLaren, to bring that back up to speed, and I'm also looking forward to seeing the Ford GT3 out there at some point running around with these guys. Now, for the folks out there watching that haven't seen this type of racing before, this is simulator racing. It's run through iRacing.com. It's a world service which branches to every country in the world, and if you've got broadband and a half decent computer, you can jump on and try your hand at racing. Now, this isn't like arcade racing, folks. This is simulation racing. So the track you're looking at, that has been laser scanned within millimetres of the real track. What I mean by laser scanning is iRacing sends people out with these big laser scanners. They go around and they do point-to-point scanning. They'll come up with 1 million different points. It does track depth, all the surroundings, everything. They take those into a computer, remodel it, and they get a perfectly accurate rendition of that track at that time. And then they apply the surface to that track to simulate what the grip levels are like. And while I'm nattering on about nothing, it looks like we've had a change in the lead with Christopher Osborne just losing it coming into the stadium there, and Matthew Hill has taken over the lead. So that might have been a problem with his traction control or just a lapse of concentration, but either way he has had a bit of a moment there and he has relinquished the lead. So it'll be interesting to see if Christopher can catch Matthew now. They're pretty well matched, so let's wait and see how this pans out. So as I was saying, they laser scan the track, and it's pretty much the closest thing you're going to get to driving on this track without driving on this track, I guess you could say. Now what they've also done is they take each of these vehicles, as you can see running around, and they get a license agreement through the manufacturer or the race team. They then send a team out. They'll get all the engineering specs for that car. They laser scan the body, take lots of photos, and sample all the sounds, and they basically build a life model of the real thing. And they drive like the real thing, they handle like the real thing. They've used all the schematics to build these things, and we're the lucky folks that get to go out and race these cars if we join the iRacing service. So I won't go on about it, but if you're into sim racing, I highly recommend you go and check out iRacing.com. They have special subscription deals all the time, and we're always looking for new members, and we'd love to see you out here having fun with us and hopefully appearing on our broadcasts. Okay, so we can see Christopher is starting to pull Matthew Hill in, so we'll just follow this for a bit longer, because I think Christopher is going to be challenging for the lead shortly. In fact, while they're doing that, let's If you're wondering why I'm pausing all the time, it's because I am operating the cameras and trying to talk at the same time, and being a mere male, I do have problems with that at times, but I'll do my best and we'll see. So it looks like Christopher is starting to have a look. Not sure where he's going to be able to make the move, because I don't think he's quite close enough at the moment to make a move into the first corner, but he'll definitely be making the move within the next lap or so if you can get close enough. If you can get close and start pulling the draft up through the chicanes up here, he may have a chance to overtake coming up the long back straight. So this is looking out of his car. His windscreen is looking absolutely filthy, so he'll be wanting to come in pretty shortly to get that peel off ripped off. So he's having a look. He's close, but he's just not getting close enough, I don't think. This really shows how well matched these cars are. Having a look on the inside. Nope, can't. It'd have to be a brave man to try and go through there, I think. That was a fantastic move as we rode there with Christopher taking the inside very cleanly. Well done to both drivers there and on allowing that pass to occur cleanly. One thing with motor racing is it's just as much an art when you're being overtaken as it is overtaking. Oh, we've had another spinner over there. In the background it looks like another rough's gone around. Let's see if I can I was going to try and jump back, folks, but I didn't quite catch who that was. So it looks like Christopher is starting to build back out that lead, and while he's doing that, I'll just have a look through the field and I'll see if we can find some decent battle packs going on out there, and we'll have a look. Okay, so Guy Leach is still defending now from Paul Mansell. He's starting to challenge for 6th position. And we've got David Arnold in there circulating by the looks of it. So what we might do, folks, is we're going to jump in the car with David Arnold. We'll take you for a lap, basically so you can see what it's like in the rough, and you can see the difference. And his screen's filthy as well, so I'd be saying, from what I've been told, folks, the rough drivers are planning a two-stop strategy tonight, from what I've heard. I'm not sure about the BMWs. So I'd say they're now been going 45 minutes. They will be due for a pit stop shortly. As we're saying that, it looks like one of the BMWs has pulled to let the other guys through. Being an endurance race, you don't want to do anything silly and fire the car off into the wall. So he's probably just letting the faster guys through so that they don't get impatient and punt him off the track. Anyway, I'll be quiet and enjoy the drive in the rough. So it looks like the BMWs and the roughs are very closely matched, but as you can see, there's not many McLarens up there. I'll see if I can find us a McLaren. I'd say they're fairly further down the field, but so it looks like they're coming up to Lappy and McMahon shortly. So just go down through the field and we'll have a look. We're currently having a look at our series founder, I guess you could say, manager, Gavin Sadler. He's coming under threat by Paul Feely at the moment. So it looks like they're having a nice close battle. Again, BMW rough, it's good to see. So we're looking at Stuart Hall at the moment. Okay, so our first McLaren looks like it's running in 16th position at the moment. So, yeah, as you can see, the first 15 positions look like they are taken up by BMWs and roughs, so just sort of shows how much the McLaren I think's been hobbled with the latest update. But anyway, hopefully iRacing will fix that up. So while we're on the McLaren, Might as well give you a lap around on that. As you can see, the McLaren isn't handling as well as the rough of the BMW at the moment. He's getting a little bit loose through one of the corners, and he looks like he's suffering from a bit of push in through that last chicane. So he's definitely got his hands full with this McLaren tonight. Saying that the McLaren has not really been the easiest car to drive. It's quite an unforgiving car, especially if you hit the ripple strips. It does have a tendency of sending you around, but it's a great car to drive, and if they can get it more competitive, we'll definitely see that back up the front again soon, hopefully. I really don't like it when we lose a bit of parity in a car, because I really don't want to see these cars dying off. I'd love to see, 4 or 5 different makes going at it, all evenly matched. And we're getting there. We've come a long way. And iRacing should be very proud with what they've done so far. Okay, so we're back now having a look at Guy Leach now being followed by David Arnold again. There's not a lot happening through the field, folks, but as you can see, pit stops are occurring. Now, another change you've made in this update with the GT3 cars to bring it more in line with GT3. Previously, when GT3 car came in for pits, they would fill it with fuel and change the tyres at the same time. They've changed that now for the GT cars and brought that back in line. So what happens now is the car is filled with fuel first, and then the tyres are changed when the fuel fill is done. What that means is it brings in a whole new amount of strategy. Some of these drivers later on may gamble not to take tyres, I doubt it, but they may, to save the time. That may... Well, we're having a look here at David Arnold now challenging Guy Leach. He's been trying it for a few times. He's just having a look down the inside. He just can't get it far enough up there. So as I was saying, some of the drivers may elect not to take tyres to save pit time. That may jump them up the field at the start, but the guys that do take tyres, I would expect, will reel those guys back in later on in the event, because these tyres, they are simulated on real race tyres. They do wear out, they do overheat, and basically if the drivers don't look after them, they will suffer for it. So it looks like Guy Leach and David Arnold now are just overtaking one of the lapped cars. I'm not sure who that is. We'll try jumping back, folks, to find out who that driver was. But it's been really, really clean racing tonight. All the drivers need to be congratulated. They're battling hard, but they're battling cleanly, and the guys being lapped are getting out of their way, which is always good to see. So while we're watching the battle, folks, I'll just take you through the top 10. Hang on a minute, that's not right. Yes, it was right, sorry. So we've got Gary Hamilton now at the front, followed by Krasimir Presnicki. I'd say that's because the front guys are now taking pits, with Matthew Hill. Looks like he has taken a pit stop with a 36.3, and he's now running back in 13th position. The other guys that have taken the pit stops was our leader, Christopher Osborne. He had a very slow stop at 50.7. Yeah, so quite a few guys are pitting, but the slowest we've had so far was Jake Maloney with a 56.3 stop. So as you can see, as the different strategies play out, some of these guys might be swapping drivers. Some may be double stinting it. Some may be taking on tyres and fuel, or just fuel. So we've got a range between 36 and 56 seconds. So basically what happens, folks, when they do a driver swap, and we'll stick with these guys because they will be pitting soon. We can take you through their pit stop. Basically what will happen is we'll see the car come in, refuel tyres. Then what happens is the driver that's taking over basically can press a button on his computer, and there will be a delay to simulate the driver swap, and then the other driver will get control, and the first driver can get up and walk away and make a coffee. They don't even have to stay logged in to the server. They can log out, do another race, watch a movie, whatever, and come back to it later on. That's especially for the longer races. Now with these endurance, we're doing a 2-hour tonight, but believe it or not, we can now do up to a 24-hour race, I think it is, which means these guys can have their computers turned off, go to bed, wake up in the morning, when it's their time to drive, jump in, have a drive, so they don't have to be sitting at their computer all the time. So it looks like David Arnold has taken that position from Guy Leach. Maybe Guy's tyres are going off a bit, or he's just decided to take a breather for a moment. And we're approaching halfway, folks. We're how long we got till the end of this race? Another hour and 4 minutes to go. So while the field cleanses itself, the top 10 now, we've got Gary Hamilton out front in his 888. What is he in? BMW by the looks of it. Followed by a rough with Krasmir Presnicki. If I'm butchering your name, I apologise. Send me a PM, tell me how to pronounce it. Running third at the moment is Ian McMahon. Now these guys haven't pitted yet. Fourth is Paul Mansell. And as we were seeing, we've got David Arnold, Guy Leach, Gavin Sadler's running 7th at the moment. Now I'd expect when these guys pit that we'll get the Matthew Hill and Christopher Osborne back taking the lead. So 8th is Paul Freely, 9th is Stuart Hall, and 10th is Matthew Barron. So having a bit of a look further down the field, folks, we've got at the moment 18th is Pat O'Hara, followed by Ben Runkle in his McLaren, Mitchell McLeod. Okay, so Nathan and Mitchell have both pitted. So all these guys we're looking at now down the field, they have pitted. So at the moment, down in 22nd, we do have Michael Manley. So the field should cleanse. It's quite an interesting strategies being played out here. Now, as a test broadcast, folks, I'm really hoping, when these guys do swap drivers, I'm hoping that my screens here is going to update with the new driver. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but I guess we'll soon find out. So it looks like Gavin Sadler's now starting to put the pressure on Guy Leach. So I'd say Guy's tyres are starting to go off a bit, but it's great to see Gavin up there at the moment, giving him heaps. Oh no, it's not Gavin. Okay, we'll take you through this pit stop, folks, and I'll try and explain what's going on. Okay, so guys coming into the pit, so we should see the car will sit there for a moment of time as he takes the fuel. We'll see it then go up on its jacks. Now I'm just going to keep an eye on Guy and I'll tell you how long his pit stop is. Okay, so he's taken on fuel at the moment. Oh, he's disappeared. Nope, he's back. I thought he might have abandoned for a moment. Don't want to put the mockers on him. Okay, so he's taken on fuel. Must say he's having quite a long stop at the moment. He's at 43 seconds, 54 seconds, and he's out. So I'm not sure if he took tyres on or not. And I'm not sure if he did a driver swap, because our screens here have not updated with the new driver. So that's something we'll need to look into for future broadcasts. So since this is a test broadcast, I'm just going to do some testing on the replay functionality, just to make sure that that is in fact working. I have no idea if that worked or not. Let's try it again. Okay, mental note, do not use the auto replay, it seems to mess things up a bit. Okay folks, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just messing around with the slow-mo replays just to get a feel for how this software works. Okay, well, that was fun. So if you're wondering what we're using as the overlay here, I'm using iRacing TV overlay. At the moment I'm just using one from another series. I will be customising it in the coming week. So that we'll have our own look and feel for this series. So as I said before, if you happen to be watching this, it's a test broadcast. It's Bernie Weimer's in here for RRTV, a new broadcasting channel that's just starting as of today. If there's anyone out there in iRacing that are interested in having a crack at joining me in the commentary booth, by all means drop me a line. It'd be great to have someone here to talk to. Future broadcasts we will be also bringing you driver interviews. what I hope to happen here is, as drivers swap out of the car, that we can bring them up and have a bit of a chat with them in the commentary booth about how their car's going, if there's any incidents, what their perspective of it is, and try to keep these long broadcasts exciting and entertaining, basically. My goal is, I'm not a professional broadcaster, I do this for the love of it, and I'm basically doing it just to help promote this great hobby, or sport, e-sport, I don't know what it is. If you're wondering, folks, how the guys are driving these cars, I'd say all these guys are using what we call a racing rig, or they may be sitting at a desk. They'd be most likely using a steering wheel and pedal arrangement. Some of the guys have quite serious setups where they'll have a proper racing seat. We call them sim rigs or racing rigs, with button boxes to simulate all the different buttons you'd find in a race car, and quite high-end steering wheels. That's at the extreme. A lot of the guys that are really into this will have triple monitors set up so that they can have a wide angle of view, and some of the guys are now even testing the Oculus Rift DK2 to see how that shapes up, and apparently it's starting to look quite good. And iRacing has released the DK2 patch, so that's now compatible, and quite a lot of us out, while we're saying that, we're just watching Warren having a bit of a moment there, so that's a good opportunity. Let's test the replay. So we'll take it from inside the car for this bit of an off, just to see what that's like from a driver's perspective. Oh, yep. You held on to that quite nicely. And it's good to see that the replay is working. So now that the pit stops have gone through, folks, I'll jump you back up to our leader. So at the moment we have Matthew Hill's just overtaken Daniel Lee. That wasn't for position, folks. He's got quite a nice lead at the moment of over 13 seconds back to Christopher Osborne, who has another 15-second gap now back to Kresimir Presnicki, who's also now taken a pit stop and found himself in third. Fourth is Gary Hamilton. Fifth is Ian McMahon. Don't worry about that, that's just not working. That's bizarre. Where was I? Sixth is David Arnold at the moment. Seventh, Gavin Sadler. Eighth, Nathan Groudon. Ninth is Stuart Hall, and rounding out our top 10 is rounding out our top 10 now. It was Matthew Barron, but it looks like he's just dropped 2 positions. So let's see if something happened there. Nope, that's strange. On my timing screens it does show him as having dropped 2 positions, but maybe I was wrong. So back live now, folks. The fastest lap still is Gary Hamilton with the 1:38.464. So no one is getting quicker at the moment as far as fastest lap goes. So having a look now at Reece Gardner having a drive. So it looks like he has swapped out with, let me have a look, Matthew Barron. So one half of my screen is updating. The other half is not. I'll try and refresh and see how we go with that. So it is definitely Reece Gardner in that car, even though it does say it is Matthew Barron there. Let's bring up my driver list. So yeah, so it's interesting. My control panel says it's Reece Gardner driving. My overlays and everything says it is Matthew Barron. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm just going to try turning off this overlay and refreshing it. Hopefully in future builds of RRTV iRacing overlay it will be able to update these things. Okay, so I've restarted it and it has now updated our driver's listing, so it just looks like I'm just going to have to do that for the time being. As I said, it is a test broadcast, so we can expect a few things like this occurring. So yeah, so we've got now Reece Gardner, as I said, replaced Matthew Barron. So if we go through our top 10 again now, the driver changes, most driver changes have occurred. We've got Dylan Sharman. Now he's partnering with Matthew Hill. Followed by Brad Wooten, Nico Brandt, Justin McKeon, Glenn Firth. 6 is Warren Pickering. 7th, Shane McMahon. Hang on a second, that's a bit... Eighth, George Fullerton. 9th, Brett. 10th is Paul Keegan. So I'm just having a look down through the list here. So David Arnold was running up in the top 10, but now Simon Ericsson's taken the drive, and we find them now down in 16th position. So going through the field, folks, it's Daryl. We're having a look at Daryl Gale here in his great-looking BMW. Another thing, folks, with this build, they have brought in a new feature, which is team car paints. Now, my broadcast doesn't appear to be showing their team paints, and I'll try and rectify that. We're just waiting to see if Trading Paints comes out with an update. At the moment, I've got to manually download all the paint schemes, put them onto my hard drive manually, and get them to work. So I'm looking forward to hopefully having some sort of automation through Trading Paints. Now, if you're wondering what Trading Paints is, for those who don't follow sim racing, basically it's a service that allows us to put a paint scheme for our car or team up on a server. Then all the drivers automatically get that downloaded to their computers, so we can all see each other's paint schemes. it's a fairly complex thing that it has to do, you know, just sync, but it works quite seamlessly, just with a piece of software, and it's a great service to have. I was having a slurp of my coffee, if you can hear that, and I apologise. So just, if you're wondering, looks like Rod Pinder's. Oh no. So this is for position, folks, with Richard Brookfield challenging for 12th over Rod Pinder at the moment. As we are looking from Chopper Cam, and followed behind them is, further back is Darryl Gale. That isn't Darryl behind them. Just trying to get the number. So that would be a lapped car. But these two guys are fighting for position at the moment. Just messing around with some of the different camera angles we have available to us. This is looking out of the blimp. Gives you a nice perspective of how fast flowing this track is, I guess. While we're doing that, I'll do a quick test of our track guide to see. Yep, and that is working as well. So this is the layout of the track that we're watching at the moment, folks. As you can see, it's quite an overcast day. Quite cold out there with only 3 degrees Celsius and a wind speed of 0, humidity of 51. So it's quite a cold day over there in England today. It has 10 turns with a length of 5 kilometres. So Richard's trying to make a move on the inside there, and he makes it stick. Well done. That McLaren's doing well, whoever's in that car. Just having a look, it's definitely not. Yeah, he's not coming up on my monitor, whoever that is, but they're definitely hanging in there, which is great to see. So maybe as this race goes on, the dynamic may change and the McLaren may become a bit more competitive. Or it could just be the, because now that we've gone through driver swaps, that there's a faster driver in that McLaren trying to make up spots. Yeah, I think that may be, yes it is, it's Riley Blythe back in 24th position at the moment. He's doing quite well there, hanging with the leaders, so it's fantastic to see. Daryl Gale is coming up to, and we've had a bit of a spin there. So as the driver does start to get lapped, he will receive a blue flag advising them to pull over. It's etiquette that they generally will pull over as the drivers do get closer, but especially when you've got a faster driver in here, unless they're getting caught, there's no reason for them to pull over. Once the driver does get quite close, they normally will pull over. If they don't, it will generally result in them being told off, or in this case we have live admins, and they may receive drive-through penalties or points penalties. But Riley's definitely circulating well here, as he's trying to unlap himself, which could explain why he's pushing so hard at the moment. Now, iRacing for road does not generally, well, it doesn't bring out safety cars, but because we have live admins, they can elect to pull out a safety car if there is a bad accident. But at the moment, with the field so strung out, I can't see that happening really. Now again, because this is a simulation, if there is a nasty crash out there, the drivers can hit escape, which simulates them being towed back to the pits, and the wreckage is removed from the track. So unless there's a really big accident at the start, there's not going to be a real big case of tracks being blocked or emergency vehicles or anything that needed. So I doubt we'll see a safety car in these races. Now Daryl's starting to catch up on Riley, so he'll be looking at wanting to move through while Riley's looking at trying to unlap himself. So this could be an interesting situation developing here, folks. Hopefully he'll let Daryl through, but at the moment he's circulating just as fast as those guys, so okay, he's falling back into Daryl's grasp now, so we'll see if he lets Daryl through at this point. Yeah, there he goes, he's moved over. Great driving, Riley, fantastic. So that was the right thing to do. He was trying to unlap himself, but once he's lost contact and starting to fall back, he's done the right thing to let Daryl through. So we've got about 34 minutes to go till the end of this race. I guess I'll hang in there and continue our broadcast test. So we're currently looking here at third, Justin McKeon, battling with Glenn Firth and Warren Pickering at the moment for fifth. Now, I thought we had Simon Eriksson in the car. Well, my screens here, folks, say it is Warren Pickering, so we'll assume it is Warren Pickering. I'm just having a look here. They haven't pitted, so this will be something I'll have to look into. So yeah, Warren's now starting to put the pressure on Glenn for fourth. And I'd say Shane's sitting back there hoping these two will have a bit of a tangle and he can capitalise and come through. So folks, we're looking at a battle here between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. We're riding at the moment with Justin McKeon, I think that's how we pronounce it. It looks like, oh, we've had contact there. So I'll go back a bit further, folks. We'll see if we can catch this on replay. Yeah, just as the driver went through, Justin's just given him a bit of a tap just to, oh, I'm not sure, let him know he's there, I guess. So now looks like Warren's making a move on Justin, and he's made that stick as well. So it looks like Justin's starting to slide down through the field. It's a great battle pack, and after nearly an hour and a half, it's great to see these guys still fighting for position out there. That was a bit of a messy move there. Well, Justin's Yeah, it definitely looks like his tyres are going off. There was no contact there, but he was definitely starting to suffer under the pressure out there. So I'd say he will be looking at coming into the pits at some point to get a new set of tyres. I guess the longer he stays out there, the worse his position's going to get. But he's dropped probably 4 positions in the last lap or so. So he'll be kicking himself at the moment. We'll just see if he can hang in there with the guys. Yeah, it looks like Justin's starting to look like he's ready to make a move, so maybe his tyres aren't too bad after all. So going through our top 10 while we're watching the action here, folks, we've still got Dylan Sharman in first, followed by Nico Brandt. He's some 23 seconds down, that's why we're following this action here. Glenn Firth, Shane McMahon, Warren Pickering, Justin McKeown, George Fullerton's 7th. 8th is Paul Keegan at the moment. 9th is Brad Wooten, and rounding out our top 10 is Brett Gerards. I think I'd pronounce that. I'm hopeless at names, folks, so if anything, just have a chuckle at me and we'll leave it at that. So some of the drivers now are coming in and electing for, I would say, their final pit stop. Brad Wooten has just pitted with a 34.8. The slowest out of them at the moment is Timothy Ballinger with a 59.4. He's some 4 laps down now, so I'd say he's got or had some sort of issue out there tonight. We currently have 15 drivers on the lead lap, so the top 50% on the lead lap. And we haven't had too many retirements. So our retirements so far looks like Rod Pinder's retired. David, nope, they're back again. Brad Gallant's retired. Jonathan Salhani, Peter Lewson, Jonathan Beekoff, Elliot Burrows have retired. I think David Hingston may have retired. We'll see if we can find him. No, he's still circulating. He's just having some issues there with connection. Now, having a look at the stops at the moment, folks, most drivers have stopped once. Brad Wooten has taken his second stop, so we can expect other drivers to start coming in. Dylan Sharman has elected to pit now. He's just finished his pit stop as he comes out. So we're just jumping back to the action at the moment. So we're having a look now at Justin trying to get past. Now, my screens don't say that's for position, so I'm just not sure who that is at the moment. And now Justin's starting to come under pressure from George Fullerton for 6th and 7th, so I'm pretty sure the car in front of them is for position, but I'm just not sure who they are because they're not coming up on my timing screens. According to my timing screens, we've got Warren Pickering followed by Justin. So if you're just tuned in, folks, this is a test broadcast for RRTV, and we're doing a test broadcast of the SEK Queensland GT3 Championships. It's a 2-hour endurance race, and we're approaching the last 20 minutes of this race at the moment. So George is making a move on Justin, and it looks, no, not quite far enough up. He was smart on backing out there. Last thing they want to do at this stage in the race is bin it, especially when you have driver swaps, and if you do something stupid you don't only kick yourself but generally your co-driver may want to kick you as well. So it just brings another element to our racing. There have been other implementations of driver swaps in the past, but I must say the way iRacing has implemented this is absolutely fantastic. They've not only brought in just driver swaps, they've brought in minimum drivers, maximum drivers, have brought in how much time each driver has to spend in the car, all sorts of things. They've even added, as I said earlier in the broadcast, if you're listening, they've even added where the driver can actually log out, turn the computer off, come back some hours later, fire it up and jump in the car when it's their turn, and or they can even go off and do another race if they choose. So it's a fantastic effort on iRacing's part there, and they never seem to disappoint when they bring out these new innovations. Some people complain it takes a little while for them to bring it out, but one thing I can say is they will release it when it's ready, and generally when it's released it is of a high quality, and if there's any issues with it they'll generally fix it as soon as they possibly can. So it looks like George has made a move on Justin while I was rabbiting on. So George will now be setting out after Warren Pickering, I guess, or that mystery driver in front of them. That's Warren. I have no idea what I'm looking at here, guys. So at the moment, since my brain's so confused, we're going to jump up and have a look at Glenn Firth and Shane Maher battling it out. Looks like they're from the same team. They're carrying the same livery. So at the moment, that's fantastic for their team, running 3rd and 4th. And they've got a gap over Warren Pickering by 26 seconds by the looks of it. No, sorry, 1 second. I'm starting to lose my mind. So these guys will be wanting to push on. I don't think they're going to catch Dylan Sharman. He's some 22 seconds up the road, but we'll follow these guys for a bit, and just to break up the monotony, let's have a look at a rear chase view. So as you can see, also one thing iRacing has got now is when you see the screens and all that gunk all over the screens, that's actually simulating road grime, and you can also see it now on all the paintwork as well, from all the flies or whatever they're running into out there. Grease, dust, officials. No, let's hope not. See, this is why we need more people in the booth, guys, because at this point I'll probably go nuts and you'll probably want me to shut up. So you can see the grime on the screen as the drivers continue. That does get worse. If a car blows an engine, that will go on their screen. Same with dust and things as it's thrown up is simulated in real time. When they pit, they have a tear off, so their screen is cleaned as their teammate goes through. So that was Shane McMahon making a move on Glenn Firth there for position, and he's moved up now into, Shane's now up to third, and Glenn, who we're riding with, has dropped down to fourth. And it looks like he's now starting to come under a bit of pressure there by Warren Pickering in the number 15. Okay folks, I'm back. I just had to have a quick break, but I'll be with you now for the next 13 minutes till the end of this race. and he's been driving around with Glenn Firth in his BMW at this stage. He's holding position in fourth. We're with Warren now as he tries to battle for that fourth position. As you can see, his screen is a lot dirtier than Glenn's at this stage. Looks like Warren's starting to make a move, or thinking about making a move on Glenn. Or Shane, Glenn's teammate, has managed to pull out a gap, so that was probably team tactics there to let the faster driver through of their team, which is a smart thing to do. It's far better than having two cars tangle. As Warren looks up the inside and it looks like he's going to make that stick, that was another good move. They get a good slipstream up that back straight there, folks, so if they can get close enough, that is the place to pass on this track. There's not too many others. Maybe coming into turn one is a good opportunity to pass. And down through here, coming into the stadium chicane, I'll have to get to know these names. Might be another opportunity, but once you get in this twisty stuff, unless you can get up on the inside into the next corner on the hairpin, you might be able to make a move, but I think it would be a little bit risky. Okay, so having a look at how we're going in the front here, folks, we have Nico Brandt at the moment is running. As we have a look at him, we haven't given them much airtime because they're a bit out the front there, but he's circulating really well in his rough at the moment. He's got a lead of 4 seconds over Dylan Sharman, and I must say his Nico's rough does look fantastic in that paint scheme. So further back some 4 seconds we have Dylan Sharman in his BMW. Looks like he's running the TTL team paint scheme. I'll definitely have the driver names and their teams as Dylan runs off the road. We should jump to Shane before we give him the commentator's curse. So we've got Shane McMahon. He's some 25 seconds down on Dylan now, so I don't think he's got much of a chance of catching him. Warren Pickering, who is still battling with Glenn Firth. We just saw that change for position. Warren runs for Redback Racing Team. He's one of their top drivers, and he's doing a fantastic job tonight. Him and Simon Eriksson running in fourth. I'd have to be happy with that result at the moment, as should Glenn Firth and his teammate Shane McMahon. They're doing very well tonight as well, running third and fifth, so I'd say they'd be happy with the results they're getting at the moment. Back in sixth is George Fullerton in his yellow BMW. Then closely followed 2 seconds down the track from him is Justin McCann. I'll never get that name right. As he's trying to pull him in, he is slightly faster. In the previous lap he was some 0.02 of a second faster, so he is slowly gaining on George. So we'll see how that shapes up. Now just further down the track, some 3 seconds in eighth, is Brad Wooten. Now Brad is circulating in the previous lap some 2 seconds faster than the guys he's pulling in, so he's really pushing hard now, Brad is, and I can see if he continues doing this we might stick with him for a bit. he will be catching these two guys. He's catching them at a great rate of knots as it is, some 2 seconds, and he has had his final pit stop. So I'd say they're fresh tyres, and he's set for the run to the line here. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make up some positions. I think he should be able to make up in 8 minutes, possibly 1, maybe 2 positions there. He'll be looking at getting through pretty quickly on these guys. He doesn't want to get held up when he's got fresh tyres. He wants to clear them and push on as fast as he can. So having a look back here now, we've got Paul Keegan in a great battle here with Reece Gardner for 9th and 10th position. And these guys haven't had their had another stop, so it looks like they run a one-stop strategy where Brad Wooten was running a 2-stopper. Now having a look at the times, Reece is pulling in Paul by 0.02 of a second, and Brett Garatz is matching Reece's time just behind them. So we'll see how Reece goes here, if he can gain any more positions with only 7 minutes 14 seconds left. Okay, jumping back to Brad now, he has now caught up with Justin, and he'll be looking at making this move. So we'll stick with him for a little bit and see how he goes. I'd say if you can get close enough, he'll probably try and make the move at the end of the straight, the long straight that we're coming up to. Yeah, definitely looking now. He got a fantastic run out of that, and I'd say he's going to make this move stick up here, looking for the inside. Justin's doing well, he's holding his line. A lot of these guys run with the one move rule. It looked like Justin didn't even try to defend that, just let him through. Probably knew that he didn't have the tyres for it. A lot of the time with this, the one move rule is if the driver in front, they can make one move to the inside or the outside of the track, choose their line, and they're to hold it at that point. If they start moving across the track and weaving, that's called blocking, and that's severely frowned upon, and I'm sure the live admins would be looking at that if that did occur. But the standard of driving tonight, I must say, has been very high. It's been fantastic clean driving, so all the drivers should be congratulated, along with Gavin Sadler for putting together a fantastic series. And as I said, this would be the premier Australian GT series at the moment, which is one of the reasons why we're looking at covering it. So Brad's caught up with George very quickly, so as he looks, oh, good move. So Brad finds himself up to 6th position at the moment. That's a fantastic run. The next guy, just having a look, is Nico up the track. Where is Nico? There's Nico. No, Nico's, according to this, leading. My scoreboard's gone all over the place now, folks. Of course he has. Stupid me. Yeah, so the gap between Nico and Dylan now is 4.2 seconds. I'm just having a look. Just going to go back, folks, because it looks like we've lost George Fullerton. I want to see what's occurred there. That disappearing and flashing that you saw, I don't think they've retired from the race. My scoreboard shows otherwise, but they did both disappear for quite a bit of time there. So they must both be suffering from internet connection issues. So what happens, folks, for those that aren't up with iRacing, is all these guys are racing from home. They all connect to a server. In this case, it's probably an Australian server. But if they have internet connection problems or slow internet or glitches, they can disappear for a bit of time and reappear on the track, or you may see them jumping around a little bit. If that occurs regularly and the quality goes down, they will be dispatched off the server, which is what I was afraid may have happened, but it hasn't in this case, which is great. So we're now looking at Justin making a move on George. Just having a look on the outside. It's a long way around, but coming up on a lapped car here. And he gets out of their way, which is great. Oh, he went in tight. Justin went in hot there. He's yes, didn't have the tyres for that move, and that was great driving there by George. Basically, seeing he's going in hot, takes his normal line and cuts back under to retake that position. So Brad's having a fantastic run here. He's currently up to 6th, and it looks like he's starting to round up Warren Pickering. We've only got 39 seconds to go, so I'd say they will be either getting... Let's go and have a look at the leader. I would say the leader's probably just got the white flag this time round, so they should be on to their last lap. Let's go back and have a look at Brad here. So these guys should be coming up to get the white flag, and I'm not sure if Brad will catch Warren, but by the amount of positions he's gained since that pit stop, he's now up to 6th. He's definitely pushing. So we're following with our leader now, folks, with Nico Brandt now coming into the final part of the circuit. After a 2-hour race, I'm sure he's hearing every nut and bolt in that car. He just wants to bring it home for him and his teammate. But it's been quite a good drive. He's pretty much started in second and led just about this whole race. So he'd have to be wrapped with that. So well done, Nico, for a fantastic race. Dylan Sharman takes second position in his BMW. Now we're riding with Shane McMahon in his BMW. As he's coming, you can see the gap that he's not only made on his teammate, but the gap that Dylan had made on him. So the field is spread out a fair bit, but he's coming around now to take the checkered flag, so well done, Shane. His teammates not too far behind. So that's a 3-4 for that team, so they'd have to be wrapped with that. With Warren Pickering coming under pressure from Brad. No, Brad's just not going to get him. I think if they had one more lap to go, Warren would have lost that position. But that's a fantastic effort there by Warren in Redback Racing. And Brad, he's made up 4 positions since that pit stop, so he'd have to be wrapped. And Justin comes across the line, followed by George Fullerton. So we'll take you through the results, folks. So first was Nico Brandt with a 2.6 second gap over Dylan Sharman in second. Shane McMahon and teammate Glenn Firth rounds out the third and fourth, followed by Warren Pickering. Brad, even though it doesn't show it here, Brad Wooten would be sixth. Justin McKeon, George Fullerton eighth, Reese Gardner ninth. Brad Geratz rounds out our top 10. Looking further down the field, we have Rod Pinder 11th, Darryl Gale 12th, Mitchell McLeod 13th, Paul Keegan finished 14th, 15th Richard Brookfield, Corey Errol Slade 16th, Trevor Forster 17th, Paul Lonergan, I'm not sure who 19th was, I'm having a look at my list here. It's not registering, so I'm not sure who that was. Paul A. Nelson comes in 20th. So we've had quite a few guys drop off since this came up, so just having a look through the field there, folks, that's pretty much it. So for those guys that listen to this, this was a test broadcast for RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers. If you have any feedback, let me know. If there's anyone out there interested in joining me in the commentary box, send me a message. So we'll see you next week, and thanks for tuning in.